Hi there, my name is Madi and I'm a Colorado knitter. This is my YouTube channel all about knitting, making, yarn. Thanks for checking me out and tuning in. I will just get started because I feel like I have a lot to share and I feel like it's been a while. So we'll try to get into the flow right away. Let's see. First of all, what I'm wearing a test knit for Alicia Plummer, and it has not been released yet because she had the great idea to include a long sleeve version. So this, for now, it was called the Pocket Tee. And because it has a little pocket here that you can hardly see with this dark color, but a little bit of ribbing and a little pocket which happens to be the swatch, which is also really nice and convenient. But you certainly don't need to add the pocket if you don't want. It has great raglan shaping, and I always have my hair on everything, but a great raglan shaping. And then, like I said, she added or is adding an option for long sleeves, which I would totally make that because I would use it a ton and just throw it on most days. I wanted to see what it looked like with a blouse underneath, and it works. So it could be kind of like I think they call popovers or like a vest, but since it has a little cap sleeve, more like a popover. But I thought it worked really well, and if you wanted to make it in a more of a woolly base, you could do that and wear it throughout the fall and the winter. I used linen quill in this one, and probably this is after that vintage celadon color. This is probably my favorite color of Purl SoHo linen quill. But I love it, and I think it should be coming out towards the middle of the month. So it's September 4th, 2024 right now, which is crazy, and I feel like that's what most people say as time flies by, but this pattern most likely will be out middle of September. All right, so we'll carry on with what I have finished. Not too much, but I feel like I needed to have more test knits as school got started, and Gabe left for his next steps in his college career, and I just needed something to occupy my mind other than worrying about the kiddos. So I did sign up for quite a few tests, which I might actually fail on finishing them, but we'll try our best. And it's always nice to have knitting. It's quite soothing and has gotten me through many things, even when things are going well or when things have been tough. So I think a lot of folks can relate to that out there with making and crafting and creating. It's very therapeutic. Okay, so the next thing I finished was a test knit for, I even went through the pronunciation of this Huga. Oh, let me see. I Googled it so I didn't mess it up. Let me see. Huga Canyon Knits. It is Kim, and she has a wonderful Instagram. Kim Jackson. Huga Canyon Knits is a knitting designer, and she created this awesome beanie. The pattern, again, I think it'll be released in October because I believe it's an October hat. But it has great cables, which created almost like ribbing, and she'll have a variety of options in the pattern. She has a twisted rib, which is gonna be just not folded over, and the twisted rib looks gorgeous. This is a DK weight yarn, and I used the yarn I got at Flock. This is the Les Garçon. Don't have the right label with me, but it is Les Garçon's DK, and it is British non-superwash, and it's in this gorgeous blue. This was actually my accidental DK purchase when I was looking to buy mostly sport, but it worked out beautifully for this beanie. The stitch definition is gorgeous. It has been blocked, but the cabling in this, so there's 2 sets. So there's actually this set here, which sort of mimics like a ribbing because it kind of goes in when you release that, and then it's a little stretchy, and then there's this second cable which is kind of like this V here. But very fun, very quick beanie to knit. Like I said, she has variations where she offers sizes from toddler to large adult, and then a folded rim option, a more slouchy option, and this is the classic beanie option. But it fits great because it kind of mimics a ribbing on the top as well. The other cool thing is that the top, instead of decreasing all the way to kind of like a pinhole where you would cinch the stitches together, she has us do a Kitchener stitch. So that's a very cool top, makes it kind of flat and beautiful on top. And there's no, like if for like a little baby or anything, there's no knot on top. It's just completely smooth on top. But love this. Definitely was nice to get something done, and I'm much better at getting things done when I'm doing a test knit, and feel like I'm supporting the designers out there. So that's one, and like I said, that is in the Les Garçon's British DK. I love this blue, for sure. I will wear that all the time. My winter coat is navy, believe it or not. And so this will be great, and it'll just be in my pocket at all times. The next thing I finished was a Woolen Zinosh sock set. I think it was last month's. And I always love them, and they're always so useful. I haven't woven in the ends, that's what I'm fiddling with now. But these are the Woolen Zinosh socks. This is the one that I had given. We were at Priest Lake, Idaho, and some little ones were making friendship bracelets, which I still have mine on, but they needed more yarn, and so I gave them my mini brown. That's why the heel and toe are different. So on this one, I just used the outside of the ball to complete the heel. What I could have done to keep the lines, you know, the striping in the correct order, I could have wound off to meet the pattern that I was doing, but I didn't think of it until after the fact. But it worked out okay because it was mostly this red or pinkish color. But they will be perfect for my boots, and I will use these a ton. They have not been blocked, but they haven't been soaked, but they are wonderful. Great. Woolen Zinosh has that great base that I love so much. It is the Superwash Targhee fingering base, and it's 90% Superwash Targhee and 10% nylon, and I adore that base. Let's see what else. I'm gonna peek at my notes because I am very forgetful. All right, so those are my 2 finished objects. I want to talk about next. Let's see. Select. I'm gonna move this item so I don't forget it till the bottom of my notes because I have to share about this. It was awesome. Okay. Since I brought up Woolen Zinosh, I'll mention that I received the next month's club, and it is Afternoon Delight. Oh, this is the August, so the other one was probably July. So this is August 2024's Yarn Club Afternoon Delight, and this is the color. And what I think I'm gonna do is I just received the update for the Colorwork Club Sock Club by Summerly Knits, and I think what I'll just do is I'll use her new Colorwork chart for kind of that band right under the cuff. I'll do it on these and just add maybe a white or something, and this will be the striped sock. So I'm excited to do that, incorporate both clubs with this sock kit. So that'll be fun, super fun. Let's see, what else can I show? I'll put Summerlee's updated little picture here, and that way you can see it. I love all of her patterns and her charts, and her color choices are always so good, but it'll be really fun to add that on the Woolens and Nosh sock. Let's see. All right. Okay, now on to Whipland, which is pretty much where I live all the time, because I get so excited to do stuff. And I think I still left, oh, I'm gonna reach it. This is like the last episode where I just kept getting up. But I actually had it inside instead of outside in the car. All right, so last time I had wanted to show you the Colorwork Sock, the bonus pattern. I can't remember which one was which, if the bonus pattern was from Summerlee Knits for the very first release. I believe August was the start of her Colorwork Club. So I had this one, which is the granny square cuffs. And then I hadn't been able to show you. So I think this might have been the bonus pattern, but I didn't get to show you the other cuff. And this is it. And it's in Les Garçon's sock yarn. I have their pretty little progress keeper there. But this is one of the clubs they had where you get like a full skein and a mini each month. And then it was either like a mountain fantasy club or something like that, but I had joined twice, and their yarn is gorgeous. And so this is the Summerlee's Colorwork, and I loved the combo of these two colors together, which I love these colors. Let's see, I might have the label for this one. Yeah, it is BFL Sock, Lorianne's Sage Advice, and the mini is Burnt Orange. And their base is 80% superwash BFL wool and 20% nylon. And this has not been soaked. And so this one, so this is the Les Garçon. And this one is a 60, I believe she has us cast on around 66 stitches or so. That's Summerlee's cast on, and this is the 2x1 ribbing, which I love. I think it's really cute. And I used a US 1 up here. This one I use a US 3 for the color work, because oftentimes I have it a little bit difficult to get over my instep. If it's tighter, I prefer a US 2.5. But it was occupied for the color work, but the 3 worked out really well for this. So all I have is the toe on this guy, and I actually, instead of using Summerlee's base pattern, which is more of the heel flap and gusset, I did the Shadow Wrap Heel by Earth Tones Girl from Soxploration sock pattern, and then I'll do the same toe. But I noticed when I was using the Shadow Wrap Heel, so the idea, then the benefit of it is that each side is mirrored. They look identical. Well, this is very clean on this side, and I noticed on the side where I go back and purl, because you're doing it flat, the side where I created that twin stitch and then I go back purling was looser. So this side is looser. So in the next sock, I'll try to be more attentive to that. And you kind of see it more when it's a solid sock and a solid heel. But it will block out, it'll wear beautifully, it'll be fine. But I did just notice that when I purled back, I think I'm a little looser on that first purl stitch. But beautiful. I love it. Always love the socks. For some reason, I don't mind having 1,000 cuffs around. With my knitting and doodle knitting, I guess, where you just want to try it out and see what it looks like. Someday it'll get finished. We'll see when. Let's see, what else can I show you? Oh, I had a blooper with this Chestnut. This is the Bluewater Sweater. Tressa Weidenaar is the designer, and let me see if I can find if that's her designer name as well. I think so, yeah. Tressa Weidenaar. It looks like it's T-S-I-N, new word, B-I-K-E-E, knits, and the translation is wooden shoe knits, and it says I'm a Navajo Dutch designer or knitter, sewer, and weaver living in New Mexico, which I love the inspiration and the vibe of her patterns. And so I was test knitting this textured yoke, which I have shown before. And this is in Farmer's Daughter Pishkun DK. It's an awesome kind of textured yarn. This is just a little bit of a remnant of it, but you can see how the twist is there. And sometimes there's some blips of irregular thickness, which is really cool and really neat for this pattern and this design and this idea. But I had knit pretty much all of this to here on the wrong gauge, so it was too big, and that was not the designer's fault. That was all me. You know, when you kind of start something and you're like, that seems wrong, but you've swatched, and then you just keep going because surely it's right, and you don't want to start over. And no, it was for some reason my gauge was way off, where I actually had to go down a needle on this, and I rarely have to go down a needle. I'm usually very tight knitter. So here's the yoke that was too big. I mean, like sleeves and everything I had done already. Now my sleeves, I went up 2 sizes of needle, and there's a little snug still. But my hope is, now that I've done all this all the way to the bottom, I'm gonna try to do sleeve surgery. So hopefully it goes well. That's the attempt today. I will hopefully take pictures and try to show you guys how it went. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work and I knit the sleeves. But I am hoping, so these sleeves you pick up afterwards and you knit about 8 rows even without decreases. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm going to knit 4 and then cut these off and go try to find the exact 4 extra rows to equal the 8 and Kitchener together. So we'll see how it goes. Because then I'll be done. It'll be done. So it was pretty hard to knit 2 versions of this, but it was all my fault. This one fits so much better, and I'm sure it'll be one of those where I reach for all the time because it's a great pullover and great shape, and the texture is awesome. I think I no longer am as in love with this color as when I bought the yarn years ago, but I do love the design, and I'm happy to have used the yarn that I had. So keep an eye out for that. It's due like in a week and a half, the test knit. So I don't know when the release date will be, but it should probably be by the end of the month. But feels super light, super cozy. It is quick because it is a DK, and I do think Pishkun DK is a bit of a heavier DK. Especially seeing that I went down a needle to get gauge. But let's see, I don't think there's much more for that one to share. I was certainly bummed that I just kept going and hoping that somehow it was gonna fit correctly, but it does not. I do have a picture of it on, but I won't post that because it is not anything a reflection of the designer. It is absolutely a reflection of why gauge matters. And that is all on me. Let's see. Oh, I bet you this is not within reach. Let's see. I was gonna show you my little thoughts about and my idea about Estonian knitting, but we'll see if I can find it after I show you some other things. Okay, let's see. The next thing that I am working on is, so this coming weekend, I get to go to Makers and Stitch, which is in Edwards, Colorado. Never been to the store. I've heard, actually the first time I heard it was on Cat Knits podcast, and she, I believe, is Little Minky on Instagram, and her name is Grace. And so Grace she often talked about Maker and Stitch because her parents live near Edwards or in Edwards. And so I think it's going to be a phenomenal yarn store, but at Maker and Stitch, Gudrun Johnston is giving a couple classes. And I get to take her Saturday class, which is a more colorwork class. I'm going to sneeze. Maybe it's going to go away. Anyways, so I get to take her colorwork class, and I think there's selection of, here it comes. Sorry. But it's about, I think it's color selection, and Maker and Stitch just got more of the Jamieson and Smith yarn, which I love. And so Grace from Cat Knit Podcast was posting on Instagram that she is trying to finish a whip that she had from a while back, which was a colorwork sweater designed by Gudrun Johnson. And my very, very first Instagram post for Colorado Knitter was the beginning of this yoke. So I put this away like I tend to do, but I had the yoke and I had one sleeve done. And when I saw Cat Knits or Grace talk about that she's pulled hers out to finish up for the class, I was motivated to do the same and inspired to do the same. So I finished the second sleeve, which luckily I had notes on my Good Notes app. If it was on paper, I would have lost it because I'm really bad about paper things. But I now just have the body. It is fingering weight, so it takes a minute. The yoke for me, so this is the Yokey Dokey sweater, and the yoke, so what I originally why I stopped knitting on this, because I was unsure about how wide this is. So I tend to like this one is pretty high. I tend to like high necks. And this one, again, also is pretty high up. So I wasn't sure if I was as excited about how this was fitting me. But once I got, so one sleeve was done, I tried it on. And I was like, oh, I don't know, that's such a wide neck. Then I did the second sleeve and it started to kind of sit better on my neck. And I was like, okay. And then the pattern itself, the bottom is kind of cool because, so after you increase a few times down here at this bottom portion. And then what you're gonna do is do some short rows. So it's where the front is a little higher and then it goes a little lower in the back. And I think it'll sit really, really nice. And as it's gotten longer in the body, it also is fitting better in the neckline. Now, I always will have the option, if I really want to, I could see what it was like if I added maybe a rolled neck, or I could cut the neck and make it tighter. But I thought, let me just finish it with as it's designed, because when I was knitting the Gudrun tank, that little summer tank that's kind of smocked in the front, the same thing happened where I was like, oh, I don't know. Once I completed the whole thing, it ended up being amazing and perfect. So I'm just going forward and trusting, and my yoke looks a little different than the design because of the way I added the colors in there. So it's amazing how you can transform a yoke just by color choices. But I mean, I would wear this with jeans all the time. So I'm excited to finish. It might be too hot to wear it this coming weekend. It looks like it's gonna be a glorious weekend in the mountains. So regardless, it's always nice for me to have the motivation, because I tend to get so distracted and not finish anything. Thank you, Grace, for the motivation. And I'm excited to see Gudrun up in the mountains of Colorado. Let's see. So that's another whip. And that one is what I'm like heavily focused on because it's this weekend. And I did use all Jamieson and Smith yarn for it, which is wonderful to work with. So you could see the reason I had chosen the colors in the yoke. Not sure if you could tell, but I'll put it up close. But you kind of have some of these blebs in that brown, some of those blues, and a little bit of the green in that brown. But super fun. The yoke was a blast to knit. That I had done the whole yoke and then I put it away because I was like, okay, the fun part's over, which is so terrible. I don't know why I'm like that. I'm even like that with books. I'll like start a book and then I get excited and start another book and then start another book. I like have 3 going at the same time, which is crazy. Let's see. So I talked about Maker and Stitch. Let me see if I can find, okay, the last test knit I'll show you and then I'll see. And I found the other thing that I wanted to show you. Okay, so the last test knit is crazy fast, and this is the one that I might not finish in time because this is for casual knits designs, and her patterns are just gorgeous and so wearable, and the construction is stunning, and I adore the pattern to death. But it's due in like on the 28th, which is a month from when we got the pattern, I think. And these people who are test knitting are phenomenal and flying. Like, I think one is done, but it is amazing how quickly and beautifully they are knitting these samples up. So I'm super happy to be part of the group, but with my focus issues and all the things I knit on at the same time, I am definitely not keeping up. But this is going to be all fall sweater, and I am loving the color that I'm using. It is a combination of Ritual Dyes yarn, and so it's a bottom-up sweater, and it will be just like a little bit of a mock neck and a beautiful construction on the shoulders. But it will just be a very useful mock neck sweater, and this color is awesome. I had this color for another sweater, so I've had this again for a while for a turtleneck sweater, and I kept pausing because I don't, like, it was like a turtleneck that you like roll over turtleneck. I just kept pausing because I was like, I don't know if I want to do the turtleneck. I just don't know. And so then when this option came up, which I'll post the picture here because she does have it on Instagram, I thought this will be great for that. And so the yarn that I'm using is Ritual Dyes in the color Chestnut, and it is the Maven base, which is 100% Rambouillet wool, 2-ply fingering, and Ritual Dyes. The color is gorgeous. And then Chestnut. And I'm holding it with Faye, the lace weight mohair, 70% kid mohair and 30% silk. And then it's this So together they're making a beautiful fabric. It does have, where you could see the silk is not as dyed, but it kind of, I like that little tweedy look, kind of like this yarn base gives me. It's that, I like it when it has some of that variety versus being completely flat in color. So I'm pretty excited about this. Right now I'm at the place where it's perfect soccer game knits and soccer knitting because it's just stockinette for about 10.5 inches. And then it'll be, you shape the front and then the back. So I'm excited about this project. Once I finish the Gudrun sweater and the sleeve surgery, I will focus solely on this because I think I would love to wear this all fall and winter, really. But this is beautiful. I'm very excited about that. So do keep your eye out for that as well. And like I said, the testers are phenomenal, just cruising and making beautiful combinations of yarn. And just, I love seeing, I think that's the huge part. It's the same as getting together with knitters or going to a festival. Connecting with other testers is just so cool, and you get so inspired and excited and motivated for what you're working on as well. Okay, let's see. I talked about that. All right, this is the one that I was not sure I had next to me, but I'm glad I do. So after flock, I always have, again, it's the same thing. It's when you're surrounded by makers and creators, you get very excited, and then my mind starts to wander and wonder, and can I do this? Can I do that? And so with the new technique I learned at Flock from Alex Bird with Estonian knitting, I wanted to try to do it on a sock cuff, but using a Colorwork chart from the Pacifico Doodle deck, and this is the desert one. And so what I did was use one of these charts, and I tried to do this Estonian stranding technique. And so here's my little saguaro cactus, and it hasn't been soaked or anything. And this is a woolly DK yarn that I just had a scrap left of. And then I actually am using the Coats & Co. company yarn base that I got at Flock. And this sock I'm using a US 0. And I did the 2 German twisted cast on, 2x1 again that I've noticed on Summer Lee's Colorwork Club socks. And then I didn't change needles for this at all, but this is the stranding of the saguaro cactus that I had from the charts in the Doodle deck. And I stranded it based on what I learned from Alex Bird. And I love it. So you can see the inside. You really don't use much yarn, but what's kind of cool is that it doesn't have to go all the way around your entire sock. Let's see if I can show you just the bits on the inside. Really nothing much. So you don't use much yarn. And then my idea is to make the second one just to have a prickly pear. So one will have the prickly pear on the outside and one has the saguaro. But it's super fun. You could add a little flower if you want. You could do so many things, but I love that you don't have to carry it around the whole way. And it was really fun to just practice and enjoy the new technique. But that's super fun, and it has my fun stitch. What are these called? Needle tip. I don't know what they're called. Stoppers? Something like that. Well, my cute saguaro. And that's from, I think I got it in the same booth as the Doodle deck. All right. And it's in the little drawstring bag that I had sewn up a while ago in patchwork. And I'll try to link that below because I think it's sew tack patterns, but they're great patterns. And it's just a little, I use this a ton because it's soft, but and I can squish it into my bag. but I'll link it below. And I've talked about it before in an older episode. Okay, let's see if I've done anything great with my notes. If I've shared what I was thinking I would share. The wool to nosh. All right. So couple things that I have purchased, I will share with you. One, I blame Melissa from Stitches Be Slippin'. I saw that a while back she was talking about the fact that she ordered this needle holder. I believe it's 5 to 6. I think I've said too many times this episode. 5 to 6. Let's see if it's even called that. Maybe it's 6 to 5. Yes, it is 5 to 6. So 5to6.com, she creates knitting, needle, and project bags. And I saw that Melissa had ordered one and was getting this delivered at Flock. And so I had looked at this before I went to Flock, and I ordered it right away. And it came so quickly, and these are made by hand and kind of customized to what you want. But this is my 5 to 6 bag, and it is a needle, interchangeable needle case, and it has 2 pockets on each side. And so, and then this cute, oh yeah, it says it right there. That's helpful. Organized knits 5 to 6. And has a wonderful zippers. So my customized needle tip holder is where you can order. The inside has the sizes from, let's see, it goes from 2, US 2, and it has a 2.5 spot, all the way to US 17, which I rarely use the big needles, so I have other things in those slots. Hopefully you can see what's in there, but it stands beautifully, and it has all the slots labeled. Can you see? Am I showing you anything? And then, so what I did on my bigger side, which I don't use, is I have a chapstick, the Poppy and Pout chapstick. I have a small, like the gauge to tell my needle size, because sometimes I can't see it. I have a little tin with stitch markers, and of course it's a cactus, and it fits in like the US 15 slot. I can put that in there. I have a needle stopper, or I don't know what they're called, these little guys. I have in the US 10.5 spot, I actually have my 9-inch circular. So I could just travel like this with just this bag and have every needle tip that I own. I even have in another of the slots the little Chowgu little rubber thing to tighten your tips to your cords. And it has a little ring in here that you could put more stitch markers or anything else you think of, maybe scissors. But what I did was I customized the order, which is an option, to include the little shorty, Chowgu shorties on one of these zipper pockets. And are the little tiny ones, which I use for sleeves and things like that. Hopefully you can see that. And that goes from size 0 to 8. And then this is the longer, the same little guys, but they're a little bit longer tips. And these, so it would be like in your Chowgu shorty sets in the red, blue, or yellow packages. Probably not yellow, because I think that's the biggest, but these go to 0 to 8, which is perfect for me because I don't use bigger. So seriously, like every needle tip possible. And then So my biggest problem with needle storage is I never put it away. I like have my needles just everywhere piled or in projects, and I just, for some reason, I have the worst time putting them away. But with this just sitting next to me, it's really easy to just put them in the correct spot. I don't have to open anything. It's just everything is available and easy to put. And then provided as well is the cord storage. And so this fits perfectly in there. I just did a matching set. And so you can label them. She provides these little stickers so that you can put the size. I think I used to waste so much time searching for needles or the right cord or things like that. And I just love this. Like if we were on a big road trip, you could have everything you want. And it's so light. It's compact. This has now that all the cords are right there. And you zip it up. And this is seriously almost every needle option you could ever need, just in this little guy. So thank you, Melissa, for letting me know about this option. And I am so happy to have it. And 5 to 6 creates these beautiful bags. So go check them out. They're amazing. Like, that's so cool and amazing. Look at how, yeah, that's awesome. So that was one acquisition that I'm very happy I purchased. It was really great. And it is helping me put the needles back when I'm done with them versus just piling them up for a day that I put everything away. A few things Ian and I have been doing. Let's see if I can find it under all this pile. I should take a picture of my pile and show you guys. So Ian and I was inspired by Kevin and Ray and Michael when they showed that they had done some polymer clay stitch markers together, and then of course you become addicted to creating and having fun and the fun memory you had. So watching them, I jumped on the polymer clay train, and Ian and I actually made some stitch markers. I'm even now more amazed at Hello Lavender's talent and skill, but I'll show you a few that we did. So I did, Kevin and Ray are really crushing it too on their creations. I saw, like, I think Ray had done a ghost and a pumpkin, really amazing stitch markers. I was floored, but I just bought little, like if cookie cutters, but they're little cutters for the clay, or little forms. So I have some hearts. And this one I tried where I actually put a little loop there so that I didn't have to do the hole. There's another heart, but this is like a cutter, a cookie cutter for the polymer clay. And this is just a different shape part, but this is the one that has like the hole in it. And then I found little forms, which is totally cheating, but cool. So you could, oh, I dropped that one. Here's another one. Here's a little, but it's like a form. So like you put it in and then you take it out of the little silicone form. And then this one, I'm still waiting to get some of those rings to put through those holes, but really it made me amazed at Hello Lavender, and it is really fun to just quickly bake them and make some. And I just have them kind of on a back table by where we watch TV, and so every now and then Ian will pop over and make a few. So that's been fun. Thank you, Needles at the Ready and Piece for Piece Crafting for the inspiration. Let's see, is there anything else? So the last thing I wanted to share is that I really had a great time with our first little knitting gathering. We met last weekend at Loyal Coffee in Colorado Springs, and we had a great showing of amazing women. And we had Kat from Knitworthy Yarns, who lives in North Carolina but spends some time in Colorado, and she surprised us and came down from the mountains for a knitting morning, and that was such a great surprise. We had Kelly, who organizes the knitting together at IKEA, second Saturday of the month, which was such a great support because I was certainly nervous. We had some other pals that I didn't ask about sharing their names, but I will post a picture here, and I do know that I could share their Instagram account, so I'll do that below if you want to check them out. But I had such a great time that we try to put it in the calendar for next time. But it really does make a difference to feel energized and be with other creators and makers, and I'm so super thankful to be able to do that, and I'm glad people came. But I really appreciate all you guys, and thank you for watching. It really makes me excited to knit more, create more, and I want to hear what you guys are making, so comment below and let me know what's on your needles, or if you're doing cross stitch, or if you're crocheting. Let me know what you're making, and thank you so much for watching. See ya.